What is up? Welcome back to the Creative Differences podcast. I'm Dallas, and I hope the Batman is not 3 hours.
I'm Colin, and technically,
Oh God, here we go.
what I saw was 176 minutes. So no, it's not 3 hours. It's just 2 hours and 56 minutes. So technically, you're good.
Okay. Technically.
I'm Demi, and I hope to God that you guys don't have to hear me do another solo review until the Batman, because the last 3 out of 5 reviews have been solely dependent on me seeing a movie. Welcome to a hella late episode of the Creative Differences podcast, your one-stop shop for movie reviews, Fancast Fridays, Throwback Thursdays, and a number of other pop culture-related items. Today, like I said, we're doing a hella late review for The Tragedy of Macbeth, which, funny enough, depends on a movie that I am the only person to have seen.
Yes.
Guys, I'm so tired.
I'm sorry that you care about the movies we don't care about.
I'm trading them all in, every single one of them.
Oh.
Yes, please like, please subscribe, please share, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell everybody you know.
So let's get started, because I hate talking to myself. Guys, today I'm reviewing The Tragedy of Macbeth, which is directed and written for the screen by Joel Cohen, based on a play by William Shakespeare, starring Denzel Washington, Frances McDormand, Alex Hassel, Bertie Carvel, Brendan Gleeson, Corey Hawkins, and Harry Melling. I don't know, I guess I should give an explanation as to what Macbeth is about.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess so.
There's some people who don't know.
A Scottish lord becomes convinced by a trio of witches that he will become the next king of Scotland, and his ambitious wife supports him in his plans of seizing power, aka my type of stuff. So, this movie is currently on Apple TV Plus, so anybody can watch it. It is available if you have an Apple TV Plus subscription, which is pretty cheap from what I understand.
The show is.
After watching this movie, like, it's legitimately all I wanted to talk about for hours, which is kind of a bad thing when immediately after I went to go watch, like, superhero stuff. I should have planned it out better, but I was in a rush because I thought we were going to be recording this episode earlier than we did. A lot of things came up. I've only ever known really basic details about the story of Macbeth. And after watching it, Macbeth is probably now my second favorite Shakespeare play that I've watched or read.
Nice.
Like I said, I vibe with this story. It intrigues me so much. The journey these characters go through is like so fascinating to me, and it fits with my love of following morally ambiguous characters and how their terrible choices affect them. Performances are top notch. It's what you expect from masterclass actors like Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand. It's Shakespeare, so obviously there are going to be moments that I don't fully understand what is being said on screen, but Denzel speaks. And I am sold. Like, I am completely enraptured whenever he speaks, especially during his monologues. He is so freaking good. I loved seeing Sean Patrick Thomas and Corey Hawkins in classic Shakespearean roles. I really like Corey Hawkins. He's great. I also really like Sean Patrick Thomas. I did not expect to see him in this movie. The cinematography and production design of this movie is incredible. Bruno Delbonnel, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I didn't look it up. Sorry, bro. But he's a cinematographer and he uses light so beautifully, especially since it's all like the entire movie's artificially lit because the entire thing was shot on a stage. So there are lighting setups that just left me in awe. It's just such a beautiful movie to look at. Stephen Deschamps, again, don't know if I'm pronouncing this man's name correctly, but Stephen Deschamps' design feels so unique to me. Like, I feel like those two things combined makes like a movie that like I've never seen anything that looks quite like it before. The movie reviewer for The Atlantic, I'm just going to quote them directly because I think they summed it up the best. Shot in stark black and white by the cinematographer Bruno Delbonnel and staged on abstract minimalist sets designed by Stephen Deschamps, the film feels like a foggy memory of a story told 100 times. And that's such a good description in my opinion. I love that even though the movie play takes place in Scotland, it looks like the story could take place anywhere in the world. I just really like that. There's something really nice about being like, this story could have taken place anywhere and like these characters would still respond the same, which is really, really dope. And everything about it just kind of comes together perfectly in my opinion. And I thought it was a great film to kick off the year with. Great way to start off the movie year. So yeah, that for me is The Tragedy of Macbeth.
I have 3 questions about it.
Mm-hmm.
My first question is, do they use Scottish accents?
Nope.
My second question is, Sean Patrick Thomas, is that the dude from Barbershop?
Yes.
Nice.
That's never the first movie I think of when I hear his name.
I assume most people think of Save the Last Dance, right? Isn't that him?
That's also not the movie that I think of, but yes, that is him.
What's yours?
Cruel Intentions.
Oh, I didn't know he was in that. Dope. Third question, does Denzel make any guarantees?
Nope, because it's Shakespeare, so you don't really say I guarantee it in Shakespeare.
Dang it. Couldn't slip
But I
one into the
guarantee that his
the
performance is
Shakespearean.
amazing.
I guarantee it.
That's good. I think you can always guarantee that with Denzel. He's Denzel. I was just hoping he might slide in like a Shakespearean guarantee in there.
No.
But
Well, I mean,
guess-
maybe he does. I don't understand Shakespearean language
Well,
well
does
enough
he
to
make,
be like, that's a
like-
guarantee.
Does he
Right.
make promises? Like, that's kind of close. And I feel like if it's Shakespeare, you have to adapt it. You're not going to say guarantees, but you could vow something or promise something.
He probably does. I
Right.
don't remember all the dialogue in this movie.
I vow that they shall not take my throne. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
That's fair. Cool.
But yeah,
Shout out to Apple
I did that as
and Scott's.
quickly as possible because last time I reviewed a movie by myself, it took me 20 minutes. So let's move on to the next thing. What you been watching? Dallas, what you been watching?
So I've been watching a couple things. One of them, I'm waiting for Gabby to show up so I can talk to her about it. But she's gone.
I was hoping she would show up for this one because she watched this movie and I wanted to
Oh, she
talk
watched this
about
movie?
it with somebody. Yes.
That's
Ooh.
man.
Well, she almost made it.
Gabby is letting us all down.
Well, no, that's not true.
Okay, fine. Not you.
I would say she's not
Specifically
letting
not
anybody
you.
down. She's just trying to live her life.
I'm just saying.
It's rough out here in those streets,
I'm just saying.
Gabby streets.
I had a thing I want to talk to Gabby about. To me, had a thing she want to talk to Gabby about. And here she is not. She ain't here. Also, shout out to Sydney if you're listening. I bet you are because you told me you've been listening to the podcast. I talked to her on the phone recently and she was like, yo, you be giving Colin and Gabby the hardest time.
You do.
And it's because she was listening to our recaps, none of which you were there for, Colin.
That's
And
fair.
every time you were not there, I make up something like, Colin has decided he no longer loves us, so he's not here.
Typically you, yeah.
Exactly. And then I did the
See-
same thing. Like with Gabby in the newest one, I said something about her lying to us or something. I don't know.
Right. And like,
know
as
my
No,
point.
you
dramatic
said she
as it-
lied to us
as it
about getting
is-
sleep.
Yes.
Mm.
And then Sydney was like, well, like Colin kind of like came to her defense. I was like, yeah, but it's my job to make them feel bad when they're not here.
See, that's the thing, right? Is like, if we're not going to be here, that kind of does give you license to say whatever you want.
Exactly. Because I'm not going to say it if she's here.
No.
Exactly.
There's no point in saying it if she's here.
Right. She can dispute
Although
it.
when she is here, then you're just getting on her about being a furry. So you're still giving her a hard time for a different reason.
Different reason. But that one's actually true. All right.
And she's not here to say otherwise. So here we go.
Exactly. It is on the record.
Not from her, but
No. We have a soundbite of her saying I'm not a furry because she likes to lie to people.
insert that here.
I am not a furry guy.
Yes. All right. So what I've been watching. I'm going to go back to like months ago. I rewatched the show and then just never talked about it on here because I had other things to talk about. It's American Dragon, Jake Long.
I'm the J to the A to the K to the E. I'm the Mac Daddy Dragon from the NYC.
You heard? Oh, I love this show so much. So it's created by Jeff Good and stars Dante Bosco, Callie Troy, a.k.a. Kitty Kaboom. Yep. Charlie Finn, John DiMaggio, Keone Young, and others, including Mae Whitman. The IMDb summary states, a teenage slacker is given the ability to turn into the American Dragon and defends all mythical creatures that secretly reside in the human world. That is a great summary, IMDb. You pretty much got it. So many of you guys remember when Disney Plus came out in like apparently 2019 because I looked it up.
Yep.
It was great. Colin, I think we were living together at the time.
We were.
I was watching Gargoyles when you weren't in the living room watching hentai.
I was not watching hentai.
Okay.
It's so funny that
Sure.
you bring up anime. We'll talk about that later.
This
Well,
time it's to me watching hentai. Who knew?
Actually, not hentai. It's just anime.
To me, would never.
I mean,
To
Dallas
would
knows me
never.
well enough to know that I would never.
Exactly. Come on, Colin.
unless you would. I don't know. Maybe you've changed.
I would not.
I don't think she would. Anyway, American Dragon was not on it because Disney Plus wanted to start a beef with me, just like Netflix. I don't know why streaming services hate me, but eventually it got there, like a year ago, and I was so happy. And Kayla and I immediately rewatched it. Not immediately, but eventually rewatched it, and it's perfect. The show came out in 2005, which is the perfect time for me. I was in middle school. Jake Long was in middle school. Also, it's one of those shows that's mostly episodic, but still has storylines and continuities that stay consistent. It's not like Avatar level serialized, but it's not just like Looney Tunes or something. And that makes for a better like binge watch because you're watching the episode like, oh, this is fun. And then you see something say, oh, snap, that's that thing from last time. I remember that. For the shippers out there, Jake and a Rose is an interesting one.
Wasn't she a bad guy or something?
Yes. For those who don't know, Dante Bosco is Zuko. He plays Jake Long. Mae Whitman, aka Katara, plays Rose.
Zutara vibes.
The Zutara fans can kind of find some tangential satisfaction, especially because this is kind of an enemies to lovers ship. Not exactly the same because they don't know. It's like Batman and Catwoman. They don't exactly know who the other one is when they're in their other form. Like when Rose is Huntsgirl, she's all masked up, and when Jake is a dragon, he's a dragon. Despite the fact that their voices are exactly the same when they go to school together. But that's how these shows are. But yeah, they build it over time. He's always thirsting over her. He's like, "Oh, Rose, that's my boo." Rose likes him enough, but she's focused on, murdering his kind. So this is why I don't really like the enemies to lovers thing. But it's fine in this case because I was 13 and I didn't care. And she's just so sweet when she's not trying to kill him. It's weird.
She don't know it's him.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like I can be down with it because as soon as she finds out who he is, she stops trying to kill him. Like she immediately takes off running. It's like, man, I can't kill Jake. That's the homie. But yeah, they have a lovely relationship. Trixie and Spud are Jake's two best friends. They're like the two most ride or die friends in the game. All these kids are like, middle schoolers from New York. And Trixie and Spud kind of have some hustle in them. So they have a teacher named Professor Rotwood, who's kind of like Mr. Crocker from Fairly Odd Parents. Like he believes in magical creatures and wants to hunt them and blah, 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 blah. So at some point, they come across a dragon, unconscious, which is Jake. They don't know it's Jake. They don't know anything about dragons. They don't know that they can take human form. And they sell Jake to Rotwood. But as soon as they find out, like they are in his room looking for him, they're like, "Jake, where you at?" And then they see on his computer screen, he has pictures of himself transforming into a dragon because he's an idiot. And they're like, "Oh my God, we just sold Jake to Rotwood." And like, they immediately do everything they can to get him back. They're great. They're always helping him out, even though, they're just humans. And he fights trolls and giants and white supremacists. Not really white supremacists, but, Hunt's clan has some weird vibes. Trixie has a grandmother who's never on screen, but is constantly asking if they want something to eat. And that's my favorite thing because it's a perfect Black grandmother characterization. They'll go to Trixie's house and then she'll be like, "Trixie, y'all want something to eat?" She's like, "No, we good, grandma." And also she's voiced by Macy Gray. So they just have Macy Gray off screen every time they go to Trixie's house. It's lovely. Foo Dog is amazing. He's played by John DiMaggio. And I watched the show before Adventure Time and before I watched Futurama. So like this is where I found my love for John DiMaggio, one of the best voice actors in the game. And he's kind of like, he is a dog, but he like, quote unquote, works for Jake's grandfather. Like, they thick as thieves. They've been boys for decades. He has a long-standing beef with this cat named Yan Yan, who's like a magical cat the way he's a magical dog. She's voiced by Tia Carrera, who plays Nani on Lilo and Stitch. The show has a lot of really dope voice actors. And there's an episode where Jake's little sister brings Foo Dog to school for show and tell. And this other little bratty girl brings the cat to school. And the kids go out for recess and then it's like on site and they get out of their cages and they're like scrapping all over the school. And there's a moment when Yan Yan is like, "I learned this move at a monastery in Shaolin." And she does all these flips. And then Foo Dog just punches her in the face. And he says, "I learned that move on Flatbush Avenue in Brooklyn." I love it so much. I love this show. Jeff Bennett is in the show for people who follow voice actors. He's like that dude in terms of just having range. Like he plays Jake's dad. Jake is half white, half Asian. And they do some really interesting things with the culture. Also, the fact that Jake's dad doesn't know he's a dragon because on his mom's side, he's a dragon, but it skipped her generation. So she's not a dragon. And they have all these like family dynamics of like, "Yo, bro, can you tell your husband that he married into a family of magic reptiles?" Because it's very difficult for me as his son to try to think of reasons why I'm sneaking out at night trying to protect the magical world. And this nigga grounded me. But like, this is your fault because you won't tell him. But yeah, he's like the whitest dude in the world. He says things like, "Haiti ho there, Jakaroo."
Oh no.
Right. But then also Jeff Bennett plays the huntsman and he's like, "I swear I will kill all the dragons." So it's like the range. Jeff Bennett, fantastic. For those who watch the show, you remember there was like an infamous animation change from season 1 to season 2 that it got, I don't like to be objective, but I'm going to say objectively worse. It just looks worse in pretty much every way. But the show didn't get worse. Like the stories arguably got better because they started to develop the characters even more. Yeah, it's not as fun to look at, but it's still just as fun to watch because the show didn't get any worse, even though the animation just kind of like, but yeah, dope show. I recommend if you haven't seen it since like 05 and you're thinking about checking it out, definitely watch it. It's one of those shows that like going back to might be even better because, kids are stupid. So there's stuff you didn't get when you watch it as a kid, but now you're an adult and you'll understand everything. So yeah, that's American Dragon. It's on Disney Plus. presumably still there. I haven't checked in months because I watched the show months ago and then took all these notes and then haven't looked back at them until today because I couldn't talk about the other show because Gabby's not here. All right.
Oof.
Colin, did you watch anything? Did you do anything? You read anything?
No.
You make anything? Cook anything?
He did
No.
make stuff. I know he made stuff. So
I know you've been making stuff, Colin. You lying to us.
I mean,
He be lying.
Listen,
He
I'm
be
on
lying.
attempt 6, bitch. And
I know,
attempt
and I
6 is not
appreciate
gonna
you for
work.
it.
I can
You're on
already
attempt
tell
6,
it's not
you ain't
gonna
telling us about
goddamn
nothing.
work. Yeah, because it's not done yet. I have to keep
tell us about the
trying.
attempts.
No,
You can talk about
They're
attempts 1 through 5.
they're failures, and I'm sad.
That's fair.
He's trying so hard, and I appreciate him
Alright.
for it because he's technically making this die for me.
Fair. Demi, tell us about your hentai.
It's not hentai. First off, I want to say that I rushed to get through Peacemaker last week because I thought Dallas was going to talk about that. So, but he
That's
didn't.
funny.
So
Yeah,
there's that.
I was like, I'm gonna review it when it's over, so I figure I might just wait.
That's
But I appreciate
fine.
you watching it.
Yeah. So after I finished getting through all the episodes of Peacemaker, I went on to go catch up to Demon Slayer
Hey.
because I hadn't caught up yet, and we're on season 2. I was waiting for them to get past the Mugen Train portion of it because I saw that in theaters, and I just didn't feel like rewatching it in episode format. But yeah, the show is created by Koyoharu Gotuje. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. I hope so. But he wrote the manga, and it stars Natsuki Hane, Yoshisugu Matsuoka, Hiro Shimono, and Akari Kito. I talked about this show before on our final TV quarantine watch because I went on like an anime spree on that episode. But just to recap what the show's about, a family is attacked by demons and only 2 members survive, Tanjiro and his sister Nezuko, who is turning into a demon slowly. Tanjiro sets out to become a demon slayer to avenge his family and cure his sister. So Demon Slayer
Dope.
is my second favorite anime so far that I've gotten into. We are 7 episodes. We are now 7 episodes into the new season with the Entertainment District arc. Yeah, I just really love this show. I love these characters and their dynamics, especially Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke, who are like our leading trio. It's like who the show's all about Tanjiro, but Zenitsu and Inosuke are like his best friends, I guess you could say, like his traveling companions as well. They go on missions with him to go defeat demons because they're all demon slayers. And they're just all so different from each other. And it's so fun. Like Inosuke is so aggressive and like hot tempered and just cannot control his feelings. And it's so funny. You compare it to like Tanjiro, who's kind of like your standard hero guy. He's like the nicest guy you'll ever meet, super polite, really wants to help people. And then you have Zenitsu, who is extremely inept at doing what they do unless he's asleep. And it's amazing. The action sequences are always extremely dope, especially because we can go like 4 episodes without action, and then you'll get like 2 or 3 straight episodes of nothing but big battle stuff.
Interesting.
Their different sword forms and their abilities are so cool. And I love the way that they animate it. Like Tanjiro's form was water breathing. And now he's switching over to sun breathing, which is an ancient art where all the other forms came from.
How does that work? Does he like breathe fire?
Yes, actually. He
Nice.
does. He breathes fire and then his sword lets out fire as well.
Oh, dope.
When he was using his water form as his primary, water would come out of his sword. Inosuke's is like an animal breathing form, I think, or something like that he created for himself because he was raised by boars.
Oh, he's the guy with the boar head?
Yes, he is. He's great.
Okay. What does animal breathing mean?
You
He's
breathe
just
in
really,
animals.
I don't even know if I'm actually calling it by the right name, but it's animal
Okay.
related because he's the animal guy raised by animals and he created it for himself. I think the most recent Hashira that we met, his is like sound breathing or something like that, and it's super dope.
Nice.
Yeah, I just like all the different forms. It all looks really, really cool, and I like how they all use them. So Demon Slayer is a super dope journey to go on. It's a really fun anime to watch if you can handle violence and blood. Yeah, it's pretty graphic at times, seeing as they're like cutting off demon heads and stuff like that.
Sounds like fun for the whole family.
It is. But yeah, that's Demon Slayer.
Question. You said it's your second favorite anime?
It is.
Is My Hero your first?
My Hero is my favorite anime. Yeah.
Nice.
My Hero
Nice,
Academia.
nice. Colin, do you have a favorite anime?
Probably.
Yes. My favorite anime is called Silver Spoon.
Yes, you told me about that.
Yeah,
And then I forgot. Because
that's
I'm a bad
fair.
friend.
It's been over for a while, so like
Got you. All right, we're moving on. We have news.
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 All right. Trailer tracking. We tracking trailers.
The trailer train. Let's go. Hop aboard.
Moon Knight. The Night of the Moon.
Been waiting years on this one.
Years?
Yeah, a lot of people have been waiting since Daredevil for a Moon Knight show.
Really? All right.
Yeah, because they saw what you
know.
could do with Daredevil, and they were like, "Yo, I want a Moon Knight show if this is what we're able to do."
I didn't know Moon Knight was hot in the streets like that. Shout out to the Moon Knight hive. I don't know what you call Moon Knight fans.
I have just
Moon
stands
Knights?
like any other stand group.
Nice
They could just be
stands, huh?
Moon Knights. I don't know.
They could be the yeah. That's confusing.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the trailers.
Pretty dope. Pretty dope. Pretty dope. It was trippy.
That's good. I like that it's trippy.
Yeah, like all the mirrors and reflections and that dickhead he works with. Who's that woman? That blonde woman who's like, "You're useless, Stevie. I hate you." And he's like,
I
"My
don't know
name is
who she
Stevie," and she
is.
just laughs at him. Like, bro, why are you like this?
Why are you so mean?
She wasn't fun. Right? Why are you so mean to him? To me, were you the one who said something like, "Oh, okay, the British one is like a split"?
It's one of his alters. Yeah,
personality.
it's Steven.
So when you said that, I expected the trailer to like briefly show that one and then get back to Mark.
No, it's the
Yeah.
trailer is mostly Steven.
We're Steven pretty much the whole time, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is what we're doing.
Yeah, the
accent
setup is Steven.
Fine. I'm gonna say fine because I've gotten used to it.
Here's the thing. Here's what I'm thinking. Because I think the setup is the first episode is mostly going to be Steven.
Mm,
And
can
then
see that.
Mark will begin to figure out that he is Mark Spector.
right.
And I think that's an interesting way of framing it because it seems like we as the audience are going to go on this journey with Mark to figure out who he is as a person, as he's also discovering the fact that he can be a superhero with his superpowers. But yeah, because in the comic books, he has 3 alternates.
Okay.
So we have Mark Spector, who's the primary, and then his 3 are Stephen Grant, Jake Lockley, and Mr. Knight. Because Mark has dissociative identity disorder.
Identity disorder, yes.
So yeah, that leads me to believe that like, yeah, we'll probably be getting that accent quite a bit, but also not as much as we would hopefully be getting Mark, if Mark is indeed the primary personality. I feel like the first episode might be a lot of Steven, and then after that we'll probably get a lot more Mark. Probably meet Jake somewhere along the way, and Mr. Knight.
Dope.
It looks cool. I love the costume. I think the costume looks super cool. I like that it comes on him like mummy wraps, which is really dope.
Yeah, that was dope.
I think that's a really
I dig it.
cool detail. I love the shot of him walking and the crescent moon is his shadow.
That was dope. I liked it. They're doing some good things with like visuals and symbolism and all that.
Yeah, it's looking a lot darker than a number of things that we've gotten from Marvel.
Yeah, when I'm guessing it's Khonshu who was like kind of chasing him down the hallway.
Yeah, it is Khonshu. Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is a horror movie.
Yeah,
like,
it's got some horror elements in there.
I was like, oh, that's so scary, but I love it. And it turns out to just be an old white woman.
Get you ready for Doctor Strange.
Which arguably is even worse.
I was gonna say, Colin, old white women are scary in their own right.
But it looks like it's going to be dope. There was a shot in the trailer, and it's funny because a lot of people compare Moon Knight. They say that Moon Knight is Marvel's Batman.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting because there is that shot of him like wailing on what looks like what might be a werewolf at the end of the trailer.
Yeah, and he's
like,
just like punching the hell out of it.
Yeah, it reminded me of the shot in the Batman trailer where Batman is doing something similar in that first teaser.
Yes.
But it was funny to me because it made me realize like the way that you can shoot something can change the way something appears. Because in the Batman one, you're really like in it because you're kind of in a perspective where it's almost like Batman's kind of punching down and you're watching him go downward. But with Moon Knight, it's like we're slowly coming in and revealing like this vicious being. And then he gets up and comes towards the camera. And just like, it's the way that you can frame these these two similar actions, but make them different, which is one of the things that I love about filmmaking.
And in the Moon Knight, since it's like, what the hell is that thing he's hitting? I at first assumed it was Khonshu because that's the only thing we've seen in the trailer that looks kind of inhuman like that. But then I thought, why would he be doing that to him?
Yeah, a lot of people thought that it was Khonshu.
Which, I don't know what they're going to do with the story, so.
Some people think it's a werewolf, which looking at it again, it does kind of look like it could be a werewolf. Also, Marvel is planning on doing a Halloween special that has to do with werewolves.
Right.
So yeah, that could tie into it. A lot of people are hoping that Moon Knight leads into a connection with Blade so that you can eventually get the Midnight Suns with Blade and Dane Whitman, aka the Black Knight.
Right.
And Doctor Strange is also part of the Midnight Suns occasionally, I think. So
I'll take it.
We're getting supernatural.
Me.
You haven't said anything about the Moon Knight.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the Moon Knight?
Looks all right. I mean, it looks like, I don't know. It's one of those things that I would love to see, and I know I'm not going to see because this doesn't really happen much. But like how this show ends up being received by like mental health advocates and stuff like that.
Mm.
That's something I'm always interested about when you have characters like this.
Mhm.
When he was first created, yeah, you could do whatever you wanted with DID because you could just do that, I guess. I don't know. I'm interested to see what that means now. Like, how are people going to react to this show? Is it going to be a respectful portrayal? Is it like, ooh, he has DID, that's wild and spooky and
Like Split?
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how that goes.
I saw a tweet from what I'm assuming is a Moon Knight fan who was like a reminder that Moon Knight is crazy not because he has DID, but because he has a psychic connection to a god.
Right.
Mm.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
But, you
I don't
know,
know. I mean, I'm gonna
advocates
watch
gonna
it,
advocate.
probably.
Other thing about the Moon Knight trailer, the use of Kid Cudi's Day and Night, so good.
That was dope.
It kind of reminded me of all the horror movies that you love when they modernize or they make a horror remix of the song. It was kind of that, but not all the way there.
Yeah, which is funny because I feel like that song would be easily twisted into a horror song.
I mean, they made it a
But-
psychological thriller song, so
Yeah, I like what they did with it. Shout out to Marvel and their relationship with hip hop. Always makes me happy.
it was very fitting for that trailer too. I was like, I never would have thought of this, but this is a really good song for this.
Yeah, I dig it.
And then I had it in my head for like 2 days afterwards.
That makes sense. It's catchy.
It's a very catchy song. Before we move on from this, I do want to say rest in peace to Gaspard Ulliel, who was one of the actors on the show. He just recently passed away right before the show came out.
Man.
A quick question, clarification
Yes.
question. Did Gabby say she was going to sleep or just that she was going to like lie in bed and not exist? I just want to make sure because she'd be sending us stuff on Instagram and I'm like, if you were
Let's
going to
see.
sleep.
Let's see. Because last time we did this, you
Right.
got on me for getting on her. So,
Right. I just wanted to give you the opportunity, you know, if.
yes, fair. Gabby did say that she is going to try to sleep. I think she gave
Okay.
herself that out by saying she's going to try to sleep.
Okay, cool.
What she meant was, I'd rather be doing anything than hanging out with you guys on Zencaster.
That's not what she meant.
Subtext, Colin. You got to read between the lines.
No,
You know what? I think
are
I'm going to
adding
keep
lines.
this section just for that.
All right, moving on to pirates. You guys like pirates?
I love pirates. Our flag means death, which I forgot was a thing that's happening.
Yeah, it's like I keep hearing about it every once in a while, but there's never been any like footage or pictures or anything. So it's just like, yeah, that's a thing that's still happening.
It's a
But
thing
now
that's
there's
going
a
on.
trailer.
I think the last time I heard about it, I think I want to say I was talking to an actor who is like an extra or a bit role or something on the show.
That's cool.
But yeah, no, I like pirates. I like funny stuff, and I like Taika Waititi, and he created the show. So I'm probably going to watch it. My last pirate television excursion was Black Sails, which is on the total opposite spectrum of this show. But this looks really funny. Also, Joel Fry
Yeah.
is in it. And I love Joel Fry.
Which one is he?
He's the one who was playing guitar. He's in Cruella
Oh, okay.
and a few other things. I really like
Oh,
him.
he was one of the
He was
guys
Jasper.
in Cruella. Yes, Jasper. Thank you. I was never going to get that name.
I
Yeah, he was really
shipped it
funny in that.
hard. He's a really
He
funny
was.
dude. Hey, they're both kind of bad people, so there's nothing wrong with that.
Speaking of ships, boats, pirates, Colin,
Me.
you like sea shanties.
I do.
Do you like pirates as well? Or is it just a me thing?
I like pirates probably not as much as Demi does, but I do like pirates. This I'm really excited for because it's funny pirates. Because I've seen Black Sails and it's great, but it is very
It's dark and
serious.
graphic.
Right.
Because the way I see it, like Taika Waititi already tackled like funny vampires and does a spectacular job of that with What We Do in the Shadows. So yeah, apply that to pirates and I'm definitely down.
Yeah, Black Sails was pirate realism, which is great for me. I have had a fascination with pirates since a young age when I was told that I am possibly related to pirates. So that's where that obsession comes from. But pirates are just cool in general. I like them. They're dope. Taika's at the very end of this trailer, which I didn't realize until the second time I watched it. And I'm excited to see what he's going to do as what I'm assuming is Blackbeard.
He's Blackbeard,
He
yeah.
is Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Leslie Jones is has a short little bit piece in there, and I think she's funny.
I like her part.
It's really weird. It's like a parody on pirates, which looks like it's going to be really funny.
Also, the main guy, Reese Darby. He's
Probably
funny.
Reese.
Yeah, I've seen him in some things. Jumanji, Life in Pieces. the trailer for Our Flag Means Death.
Fred Armisen
He's
is
a
in
pretty
it, and
funny
he's
guy.
really funny.
Was he in the trailer?
I think he was. Not sure. I think he might have been with Leslie Jones.
But yeah, Joel Fry's my guy, and I'm just glad he's in it. Oh, and Goose Khan is in it. He's so funny too. And Christian Nairn from Game of Thrones. It'll be nice to see him in something where he doesn't just say Hodor the entire time.
Oh, that guy. I've heard of him because all my friends watch Game of Thrones.
And
Yeah,
every single one of them was disappointed. Anyway,
shout out to disappointment.
Don't shout that out.
no, don't shout out disappointment. Nobody wants to be disappointed. News. You guys want to get to news?
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
All right, first up for me and Colin, there are 4 new cast members joining Netflix's Shadow and Bone.
Hello. Let's fucking talk about it.
Let's go. So our 4 cast members who are joining are Louis Tan, Anna Leong Brophy, Patrick Gibson, and Jack Wolf. And we have 3 cast members who have been promoted to season regulars, and that would be Danielle Galligan, Daisy Head, and Callahan Skogman. I'm so happy about Daisy Head being promoted to season regular because she's amazing and I love her on that show. Jenya's dope. But anyway, the 4 new cast members. I know nothing about these characters. I've never read these books, but I know, Colin, you have read a number of them.
I've read almost all of them. I haven't read the most recent series yet. I have the first book. I just need to get to it. But yeah, I am very familiar with these characters, Toya, Tamar, Nikolai, and Wylan. And they're all like super great. And it's interesting because Toya, Tamar, and Nikolai makes sense, but how to say, the fact that they introduced the character as Nikolai makes me wonder if how his storyline's going to go, because he does go by a different name for a lot of his time in the books at first.
Mm.
And Wylan is interesting because he's a crow, and I keep wondering if they're going to say that the crows are getting a spin-off show, because I feel like that's what they need.
You mean like a bird, or is that like a term for something?
No, it's a group. It's like a gang.
Ah, okay.
From what I've read, and I think it says in the article that I have in our news thing, I think that the creators of the show, or the writer of the show, I don't remember who it was, somebody associated with the show in a high place, said that they are combining elements from both series. So I don't think that they'll be giving them a spinoff. Someone is trying to include their story into this series.
See, that feels like not a great option to me, because part of what makes their story interesting is that it's a much smaller scale than the main story. You know, Alina's trying to save the world and blah, blah, blah. And like theirs is mostly what's going on in this city and how are we part of that? And I feel like it'll be weird if they keep having to just happen to run into Alina over and over. I don't know. I mean, adding Wylan is good. He's one of the characters that, like, it bothered me that he was missing from season 1 of Shadow and Bone, because he's sort of integral to the Crows as a group. So I'm really excited to see him in season 2. I did not expect these characters to show up in season 2. I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know what the fuck they were going to do. But the fact that they're bringing in Toya and Tamar and Nikolai and Wylan is really interesting, because these are all people who have a lot to do and who stick around for a while.
Oh, that's good to know, because I'm a huge fan of Louis Tan, so I'm here to watch him be on this show for seasons.
I don't know if Toya's in. Well, Toya is in the main books, and then I think he does show up in the Six of Crows books, because Nikolai shows up in those. I don't know if he's in the Nikolai books, but I know that Tamar is, so I would assume that Toya is too. But they'll probably be around for a while.
They released that casting announcement and immediately started posting thirst traps of Louis Tan on social media for Netflix. It's ridiculous. But he's going to get to use all of his stunt training that he's really, really good at, all of his martial arts stuff. So,
which they picked a good person for it, because Toya does a lot of fighting. They both do.
And he reads poetry, from what I've heard.
I think he does. I don't remember that about Toya, but sure, why not?
So the people who were promoted to regulars this year: Danielle Galligan, who plays Nina, Callahan Skogman, who plays Matthias, and Daisy Head, who plays Jenya.
Yes. Hey, for the Jenya fans out there, that's great. Her storyline is interesting. Not yet.
I do
for
love
me.
Jenya.
It gets interesting. But Nina and Matthias is, and I think always will be, my favorite part of this series. So
they have really great chemistry.
They do, and their storyline together is really interesting, and Nina's storyline, like, on her own, is super interesting. And so I'm really glad that they are going to be in it more, and that's going to be a focus, because I do think that was one of the stronger parts of the first season, and is one of the stronger parts of the books in general.
I'm gonna have to rewatch the entire first season before the second one comes out, similarly to how I did with The Witcher. But yeah, I'm excited for this news. I really like Shadow and Bone. It was one of my top 10 shows of last year. So can't wait for season 2 to be out. They're filming right now. I think they're in Budapest.
Mm.
Next piece of news, Dallas can get in on this one. We got our first look at Leslie Grace as Batgirl
We do.
in her Batgirl costume.
I dig it.
She's based on, what is it, like Batgirl at Burnside or something? Like,
Yeah, it's
whatever that run
Burnside
is?
Batgirl. Yeah.
Mm.
It is like straight up comic accurate. Like you put them side
Hmm.
by side and like only a few details are not the same. Like
Okay.
her gloves in the movie seem to be black and in the comic they're like yellow. She's even wearing Doc
All right.
Martens like she wears in the comic. So like it's crazy
Mm.
how accurate it is. It seems like comic book movies are really starting to embrace the comic accuracy of their costumes.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah, depending
I
on
feel
like how silly they are in the source material.
Because
Like
the Moon
this
Knight
one
costume is
isn't
pretty
too
accurate.
wild. Sure.
Well, I think about things like, say, Electro, right? Who got
Yeah.
the star for a second in No Way Home and then didn't have it because it would be kind of doofy for him to have the star around his head the whole time.
Yeah, he's an example where it's like,
Still more accurate than The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Sure.
yeah, but like I wouldn't say that they're embracing it in that
I think
case.
Yeah.
most of them are.
They like referenced it.
I mean, yeah, they referenced it, but I think most of them are getting pretty accurate. Look at Captain America, like the Falcon's Captain America costume. Look at Scarlet Witch. Like a lot of our leading heroes are getting pretty comic accurate costumes.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Even
and
Spider-Man.
fortunately, those are the ones that are the easiest to like not look goofy.
It does, like it.
You
I
hope.
think that's part of it, is that there is, I think this is most notable with the recent, Marvel and DC stuff, that there is a hesitance to do anything that might look goofy. And so it's like, if we're going to do comic accurate, it has to be the stuff that could already look cool.
I don't think that's
and
true because
otherwise
look at
we're gonna
Aquaman.
change it.
Aquaman is an interesting, like that's the example of like we're just gonna go for it, and they did, and it worked out because that Aquaman don't look cool in the comic books. He can, but like the bright orange and the green pants, it's not the best.
And look
the
at
best
Black
fit.
Manta's helmet.
That looked kind of goofy to me.
I
It
mean,
looked
but
like a
they've done it
bobblehead.
again and it still looks cool. It looks cooler.
James Wan definitely went for it. Even Orm, like with the big chrome helmet, and the
Reflective
purple.
chrome dome.
Yeah, he did his thing. Like he was
Yeah.
going for it, and I respect that.
I meant to mention in the Moon Knight section, Moon Knight, they gave him the glowing white eyes that everybody's been wanting to give Batman for like years. And I'm wondering if it's because maybe Moon Knight doesn't need to show as much emotion when he's going out for his vengeance versus them wanting Batman to show his emotion more. I don't know. I'm curious about that decision, but it does look really cool.
I did like it a lot. I feel like it's probably because of the supernatural aspects of his character.
Yeah.
Like, I got a freaking mummy suit and glowing eyes because I'm the moon.
But anyway, Batgirl's costume, this first look at her costume. Yeah, it's very much Burnside Batgirl. I'm super excited about this movie. I've been waiting for them to do a costume reveal. I do kind of like that DC has been doing this thing where they'll reveal the costume before it gets out, like in tabloids and paparazzi
Mhm.
shots and stuff like that, because paparazzi shots don't necessarily give you a good feel, a
it's
good
like
vibe.
they're at weird angles, or
They're
it's like
blurry.
blurry, and it's like, oh, but that's kind of what it looks like, but this is like, no, let's just put it out. People know what it looks like, and then
Yeah.
we can move on.
Because I remember when Titans was getting like the shots leaked and people
Yeah.
saw Starfire, niggas was obliterating that show on the internet.
They're
It was like-
obliterating Batgirl right now, actually.
Why?
They don't like the costume.
Because she's black?
Well, I mean, that's probably also part of the reason. But also, a lot of people are saying it looks like a CW costume. But like at the same time, a lot of people complained about the Batman batsuit. Like when those paparazzi photos came out of the stunt double at the motorcycle or whatever. And then as soon as we saw a
Mhm.
trailer of him in the suit, everybody was like, oh, we were wrong. It looks really, really good. Because yeah,
Right.
it's going to look different in motion and with color grading and stuff versus what you're seeing, even in an official photo, to be honest.
Right.
Because there's a tabloid photo that actually just came out like a couple days after their first release of her official costume photo, and it looks really, really dope in the nighttime light. It's crazy.
Nice.
So yeah, I can't wait to see what it looks like in motion, especially because she's in so much leather. I'm like, I hope you can move in it because you're supposed to be Batgirl.
Yeah.
But I think it looks cool. I think it's really interesting that they went for the purple and yellow color scheme instead of going for the black. But I guess that speaks more to them going for Batgirl as her own hero, and she's not a sidekick to Batman at this point in time. She is
Right.
only Batgirl.
Which is so interesting because I've been binge watching Batman the Animated Series again.
Woo.
And I recently got to the episode where Batgirl
Dang it, I gotta get
becomes
to
Batgirl for the first time.
Yeah.
And I won't give it all away because you're still gonna watch it. But it's a really interesting way that they do that in the show.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to seeing how they're gonna do it in the movie.
Yeah, I know in the comics she becomes Batgirl without Batman. She is inspired by Batman to become Batgirl, but she is not in contact with him. And he doesn't actually want her to
Right.
be Batgirl.
Yeah, she kind of bootlegs his image.
Hey,
Yes.
so well, do they fuck in the animated series?
No.
Cool. Good.
Colin.
Cool. Good.
Colin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Colin.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I understand why you would ask because
Yeah.
the guy who did that is Bruce Timm, and it's kind of his show. He's a strange dude, but no, they do not. They do not. There's no implied pipe laying.
Not at all. I hope that with Matt Reeves also working on Caped Crusader that we get more Batcat and not the Batman Batgirl stuff. Please don't.
I don't.
think we're
I'm going to
past
ask a
Batman, Batgirl.
question that I don't actually want to ask because I hate whenever we have to talk about this. But is this in the same universe or whatever the
Yes.
fuck?
Yes, it is.
What?
Her
No? Yeah,
father.
what? Yeah.
Her father is being played by J.K. Simmons, which makes it part of the DCEU.
Wait, J.K. Simmons,
Yes.
not
Jeffrey.
Not
Wright.
Jeffrey Wright.
so it's not in that one. They're
Not in that
different.
No, it's a different one.
I
She's not.
hate this.
Matt Reeves has his own Batman universe. Batgirl
Okay.
is in the bigger, wider universe.
So that's the way to think of it. Is Matt Reeves is doing his own thing,
Yes.
but everyone else is no. Well, yeah, but no, but
Everyone
Yeah.
else
then the
except
Yes,
Flash
but
might
no.
mess everything up.
Basically, unless specified, everything is involved in the same universe.
Okay, and
Yeah.
Matt Reeves Batman has been specified that it is not.
Yes. In the same way that Joker was specified, it was not.
Exactly.
Right.
If it's not
okay,
Joker
okay,
or the
okay.
Batman, it's DCEU.
Oh God, I hope those aren't in the same universe.
They're not.
Maybe I do actually.
I don't.
Just from what we've seen of Batman beating the shit out of people, do that. Get to
Beat up
Joaquin
Joaquin
Phoenix and
Phoenix.
just start punching.
Jesus.
Although I heard a rumor, not to sound like old girl from Umbrella Academy,
Okay.
that
I do love that reference.
they are not, and obviously this is a rumor, it's unsubstantiated, but
Mhm.
they're not trying to bring back Cavill or Affleck, and they want Supergirl and Batgirl to kind of be like the super and Bat people for this universe going forward.
Wait, is Super who? Oh, right, they cast a new
Supergirl is in the
Supergirl.
Flash. Yeah. So
Yeah.
they have a Supergirl
Right.
in the
Yeah,
Flash.
I think the rumor was that Flash is going to erase Affleck and Cavill, and then certain people who shall not be named got mad about that because they do that.
So here's the thing. See, with this news coming out, rumor, I'm not going to believe any of this stuff until I actually go see The Flash and see what they do. It is
Right.
obvious because Michael Keaton is going to be in Batgirl, that Michael Keaton will be taking over the role that Ben Affleck's Batman was playing within this universe. Makes sense.
Yeah,
Fine.
it's Batman.
Ben Affleck does not want to come back. I don't want to force that man to come back to that role. He don't want to be here.
Right? If he doesn't want to do it, let him do something else.
Yeah, he's happier doing other things. That's good for him. Cavill still obviously wants to play Superman. I think
Right.
that they should find a way to bring Cavill back as Superman because he will do it if they ask him. I don't want to see them let go of Cavill's Superman. I don't think that they are erasing him from their universe. That doesn't quite make sense to me. I would like to see him back in the universe. And I don't even think Supergirl and Batgirl are replacing them. They're just, going to be the faces of those particular families for the Justice League.
That's what I mean. I don't mean
Yeah,
she's
no,
gonna
I
be
know what you
Superman.
mean.
I mean if we
Yeah,
have a
I know what you
Kryptonian,
mean.
it's gonna be Supergirl. And if we have a Bat person.
It's Batgirl. Because the people that the fans that were not mentioned by Colin, they're the ones who are like, you can't replace Batman and Superman with Batgirl and Supergirl. Like, they're not the same people. And it's like, you're right. They're not replacing them. They're just going to be the faces of that family. That's not the same
Right.
thing. We have a Batman in the universe. It's now going to be Michael Keaton.
Which,
That's
as much as I love Michael Keaton, he is 70 years old.
Oh, Jesus Christ, is he?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh my
he's
God.
mentor Batman now.
Was he the
Right.
one who couldn't turn his head, or was that somebody else?
That was
Keaton.
Keaton, I believe.
But that was because of the suit.
Oh, I hope they keep it.
Yeah, now he just can't turn his head because he's 100 years old.
I don't know. You saw the Protege. I thought he did a great job in the Protege. I heard.
He was fantastic in the Protege. He's my favorite part of that movie.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm just making the joke that Bruce Wayne is 70 and that's ridiculous. But if they want to make
mean,
a Batman Beyond movie with
eventually-
Michael Keaton,
I was gonna
I'm about
ask,
it.
how old is he in Batman Beyond?
Old as hell.
Yeah.
Like, Michael Keaton should play Batman Beyond Batman at this age because Batman Beyond Batman is old as dirt.
Some people are theorizing that this Batgirl movie is going to be taking a few hints from Batman Beyond. The movie ending with Batman becoming a mentor to Batgirl in a similar fashion. The rumor is that Batman is sending Black Canary to go recruit her.
I think that is a dope way to do that, but I don't want them to because I feel like if they do that, they might be farther away from doing Batman Beyond because they'd be like, well, we just did the mentor thing. We don't want to do it again with Terry. And I also want to say that I'm not saying Michael Keaton is old as dirt. I'm saying that in the cartoon, Bruce Wayne is old as dirt.
Yes.
So Michael Keaton being of an older age.
So what you're
It's
saying
about that time.
is
What's up?
Michael Keaton is the person you would pick to play someone old as dirt. I can then infer
No, you can't. What are you going to infer?
that you're suggesting that Michael Keaton is in fact old as dirt.
No, it's
Okay.
movie math. You know, when someone is older in Hollywood years, you can play someone old as dirt.
Well,
Accurate.
no, if you're a woman, you're usually put out to pasture, but you know.
Bro, the woman that they had play Samuel Jackson's mom in Glass is younger than him.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Hollywood
Yeah, I
don't care
remember
about
that.
math.
That's true. Hollywood does not care about math. But yeah, I'm excited about Batgirl. You remember when we talked about Jacob Scipio being in the movie, and I was like, I think he might be playing her brother. Yeah,
Right.
today I discovered that her brother is a psychopath in the comics, so that'll be interesting.
Dang, you gonna play a killer again?
Yep, a whole villain.
I guess that's gonna be his typecasting.
But yeah, so Batgirl's costume, I think it looks cool. I think it'll look even cooler with lighting and color grading and all that stuff for the film. I'm sure it'll come out great.
Yeah, it looks dope. I'm with it. I'm excited for the movie.
I like the references that they've been putting in the background on the set, which there are a lot of pictures of. But
Hey, I have a quick question about that actually.
yeah,
It's Luthor,
They spelled it wrong.
right?
yeah.
I don't know why they spelled it wrong.
Is this
Well,
supposed to be a weird universe thing or
Well, people are pointing out that that's also a gossip magazine, so
So like
it's not a
they
good
just don't put a lot of
care.
effort into their craft.
Yeah.
Word.
Last piece of news, Amazon Prime's Lord of the Rings show gets a full title. It is called The Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power. They put out a nice little title announcement video, which I was like, hey, all this imagery really looks really nice. I don't know what Colin was talking about. And then I got to the actual title card and I was like, oh, well, that's kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean the video is awesome and like they had behind the scenes shots of like they did actually forge that stuff. Like they did that.
Oh, wow.
So that's
Seriously?
awesome. Yeah, they did.
I thought it was CGI.
Like you can see, but I mean there might have been CGI in the presentation, but they did forge the thing.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, the Rings of Power, it's just such a dull title, I guess. I don't know. It's interesting because people have made the point that like the Lord of the Rings isn't an exciting title either.
No,
But
it's not.
I think what bothers me is the rings so close together. The Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. Like
Oh, it's too many rings together.
it's too many rings close together, and it's also
There's
like
one word between them.
like it gives me the sense that okay, the story is going to be about the people who got the rings and what happened to them, which is cool in one sense. I want to see what happened to the 9 men who became the Nazgul, or not the Nazgul. I think the Nazgul are the dragons. Ring
I thought the
race.
Nazgul were
No.
the Dementor looking dude.
No, I think the Nazgul are the dragons that they ride, and the ring race are the dudes. I'm not an expert, but
Same.
whatever.
We've watched enough Lord of the Rings, though, so
So we should know.
watched a lot of it.
But yeah, I mean they have young Galadriel doing the whole ring speech, so that's cool.
Oh, no, the Nazgul are the ring wraiths.
Oh, really?
They are one and the same.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, it looks. I don't know what it looks because I haven't seen the show, but or anything of it. I've just seen the title, Rings of Power. I don't know. I'm interested. I'll say that much. I will probably give it a try when it comes out.
I'm definitely going to give it a try. Like, I love Lord of the Rings, and they spent so much money on this freaking show. I want to see
See-
what it looks like.
They did, and that's what's going to be so interesting to me is that money does not always equate to like one of the
Quality.
reasons that people love the trilogy of films so much is because it's obvious how much love went into them and how much care, and
They're so good.
I wonder, they're incredible. They are. And I wonder if this show will capture any of that or if it will just be a big spectacle that doesn't really have the heart. And there's no way to know until it comes out.
I hope that it's great, because obviously I don't want to be disappointed. I want it to be great.
Right.
The showrunners, I think they're huge fans of Lord of the Rings in general.
I feel like that doesn't necessarily say that much to me because a lot of people are huge Lord of the Rings fans because it's like the thing from which so much of fantasy is drawn. I don't know. It's interesting to me because for me personally, Lord of the Rings is not a selling point because I'm kind of like, can we move away from Tolkien and his influence? Like, do something else. But
I love Lord of the Rings, so I don't have that same feeling.
what I would like, and I know that I'm probably not going to get, is something that's a little bit lower stakes and is more personal and like the corruption of the rings on the people versus a big world-ending battle, which is probably what it's going to end up being, because that's what it probably will end up being. The Rings of Power. Or really, it's a series that's all about the rings from the rings perspective, and you don't even see the people, you just see like fingers.
Oh,
Betting on that one.
oh,
Betting on that one.
fingers, huh?
It's not called the holders of the Rings of Power. It's called the Rings of Power.
So
So
just fingers.
well, you would see it from the rings perspective, right? So yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, okay,
Trying to
yeah. The
think of
guys
what's
behind
up.
this have not done quite a lot. They wrote Star Trek Beyond. That's it.
I
Which
like
one
that
is
movie.
that one?
I think that's the
That's
newest
the third one with Sofia Boutella.
Okay. I feel like that one sort of came and went in my consciousness, but it didn't offend me. So
It's the one with the
That's a good thing.
Beastie Boys song, Sabotage.
sorry, what?
It's the one where they use that Beastie Boys song to defeat the aliens.
Oh, right.
And Idris Elba was in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was the Idris Elba one. Right. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I'm remembering now.
Okay, but Cynthia Adai Robinson is in this Lord of the Rings show, and I love her
Oh,
whenever she
God,
pops
yeah.
up on anything. So I'm excited
Hold on,
about
that-
that. She played Amanda
Her
Waller.
name sounds
and
interesting. Is she black?
She is indeed.
You're talking about
we got
Founder?
Cynthia Adai Robinson. She played Amanda Waller on Arrow.
Yo,
Back when I
we
used to
got
watch it.
Negroes in Lord of the Rings.
I know her.
Good.
I don't know her, but like I know of her.
Didn't even know we could do Negroes in Lord of the Rings.
Oh my goodness,
We're
she's done a
really
lot of
moving up
stuff.
in the world.
No, we could do Negroes and Lord of the Rings. That's gracious.
I love Lord of the Rings. I'm excited to see what they're going to pull out for a TV series. I like the universe of Lord of the Rings. I've never been able to really finish those books. I would like to. Maybe I can now that I'm an adult and not a 13-year-old child. Who knows? But I'm excited. I thought that the video of the title announcement looked really nice. But yeah, that's all we've got for you guys about that and about much of anything else because all they did was give us a title. Told us it's
Right?
called The
Can
Rings
we
of
get
Power.
like some pictures of people, some foot, anything?
It's coming out in September, I think. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, we got a title. That was it. The title tells us that it's probably about how the rings were made and what happened afterwards.
Rings.
I'm intrigued by the
Fingers.
concept as a Lord of the Rings fan.
Oh, wait. Damn it. No, that's not going to work. I was thinking the Ariana song is 7 rings, right? I
don't know.
think the Ariana Grande song. So they
Oh, it
couldn't do
is.
like a dramatic version of that for the trailer.
How many
I
rings
didn't
are there?
mention 9. No,
9.
12? 13?
Oh.
A lot.
No, it's 9, isn't it? No, I'm sorry, 12 or 13. Yeah, because it's like 9 for the men. I think 3 for the elves
3
and
for
like
the
3
elves.
for the 3 for the elves. That brings us up to 12.
There's
I'd have
a
to watch
lot
the
of
thing
them.
again. He made a bunch.
There were a lot of rings, and there was only one of them to rule them all.
All right.
All right, that's all we've got for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We don't know what we're doing next. That's kind of how this year is going.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Colin and I aren't really watching movies right now, so.
Nope.
But we have other things. We have throwbacks. We have Fancast Fridays. We have Top 5 Tuesdays. That's about it. So, maybe one of those, or maybe Demi will find a movie she wants to watch. We'll see.
I'm telling you,
Maybe
I'm
we'll
not doing
find
any
Gabby.
more solo reviews until the Batman stuff.
Well then, the things I said. All right. Thanks, audience. Thank you for listening. We love you. We care about you. We appreciate you. Thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon, and IO. We love, care, and appreciate you as well. Thank you for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Demi, thank you for editing and putting us on YouTube and watching a movie this week and repping for the pirate people.
I watched the movie last week. This episode is a week late.
Shh, they didn't need to
Don't
know.
tell them that. They don't. Shh.
Guys, the movie came out last Friday. They know.
They don't
Movie
know when
magic.
you watched it. They just know it came out last Friday.
Yeah, I usually watch them day of. I'm not you guys.
All right, fine. Colin, thank you. Colin, thank you for repping for the people who be reading books because, you jumped in every time we talked about a book adaptation.
That's what I'm here for.
He's our
Which is
book
funny because
reader.
I've not read Lord of the Rings books and I don't want to because I think they're way too long and way too uninteresting. But hey,
They read like
They exist.
history books.
they do.
Mm.
History books or like a story being told to you by an old person who doesn't realize that every detail isn't significant.
I don't need to know every
Yeah.
detail about this tree's life. I really don't.
Right, but apparently you do. So
Apparently you do because trees be walking. Back to you, audience. Do you like Shakespeare more than now that it's blacker? Do you like Batgirl more now that she's blacker? Let us know in the comments. Or hit us on Twitter at y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast, or Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. if you want to talk to me about American Dragon and be nostalgic with me, hit me up on Twitter and or Instagram at a king named Simba, because I'd be bored on social media. I need people to talk to.
Talk to me about the Shadow and Bone casting and what that means for the show, because the only people I have to talk to about it are people who haven't read the books yet, even though
Yeah,
they
that's
said
true.
that they would and then didn't.
No, that's not me.
do
I didn't make that promise.
So
Yeah,
no,
what are you
someone
calling
else
out,
did.
Colin?
I don't want to say a name. I think that's
Say
kind
their
of rude.
full government name. Put them out there.
I will not do that, but I'm just saying some friend a while back when we watched the show together was like, oh, I'm going to read the books, and then didn't do that. So like, anyway, talk to me about that on Twitter at Duck McGuck.
I don't know, man. You guys can just talk about anything movie related with me at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. Let me know if I should change my Twitter handle. I've been thinking about it. Thanks again for joining us.
And if you want to find Gabby, you can find her on Twitter at Our Flag Means Thirst.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a good one.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been different.
It's been different. Bye. So, Colin,
So what is that flag?
what is
water. It's just dripping water. And the
or like
flag is
the
always
drip
white.
emoji?
Ooh.
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 Am I wrong?
Flag is soggy.
Just a picture of Kovu on the flag.
Ooh.
And the flag is always wet.
Yep. Gabby's not gonna like that.